The one thing you have when going for when you have 5 seniors out there, they know what it's for. You don't have to tell them what's going to happen, after tonight. So, they are trying to make the hustle plays. We just came up short. We made some uncharacteristic errors down the stretch here that aren't like us. But hand it to Fall River. They put on some good pressure. They kind of they got into our faces a little bit and made it hard to get the ball where we wanted it to go.
Lori, you handled the pressure, I thought, real well, especially in the first half. You got a lot of great looks at the back end of beating the press that just didn't fall. I think Sam DeVoe, I counted 2, Jordan Garrison maybe 1 or 2, and those fall, and all of a sudden it's a totally different ball game.
Yeah, we talked about that, at halftime, that we have to stay aggressive. We have been breaking the press pretty well up the middle, and, like you said, we just couldn't finish around the rim. We talked about focus, we talked about taking, the bigger arena out of it, the crowd, just looking at the backboard and just trying to finish.
You mentioned in your pregame show with Mark that you had to stay out of foul trouble, and the one girl I feel you couldn't afford to lose to foul trouble in the first half, Alyssa Kubley, picks up her third. You had to take her out at that point if you were going to be able to have her for the second half, but that one really hurt.
It did, and I think that, as we've gone along this year, anywhere, from 6 to 8 players, when we've gotten into foul trouble early, especially with her, but even with some of the other girls, it's been really tough. We're trying to stress, when you're in the third and fourth quarter and you want to be playing hard, and it's anticipating and going after that ball, it's really hard to do when you're sitting there with, 3 or 4 fouls. So, it gets you in a tight spot, and, our leading scorer, sitting on the bench, it definitely didn't help tonight.
But by the same token, I thought Jordan Garrison, Sam DeVoe especially, and Courtney Leitzinger, all the girls stepped it up. But those 3 in particular, you could tell were trying to play at a higher level, trying to finish things that maybe they aren't normally the finishers on, and keep you in the ball game.
Yeah, they did a good job, attacking at first. I thought that we kind of got away from it a little bit more than where I wanted to in the latter part of the game. We were kind of content with just kind of passing the ball around and playing a little bit more timid than I wanted to. But the girls, I'm so proud of them. We're here for a reason. We stepped up big against Argyle in a regional final game, and it came down to these 5 seniors. I'm very, very proud of them. I told them in the locker room. I think that I've probably learned as much from them as I hope that they've learned from me, and they have nothing to hang their heads about this year.
And as far as Fall River goes, I thought very similar in some respects to Barneveld, but maybe not quite, the frontline players, their top scorers, maybe not quite as crisp and as experienced as Barneveld's, but boy, they're not too far behind, are they?
No, I could see some resemblances there as well. I think that they probably make a few more errors and mistakes in the open court, but boy, did they finish tonight, and just when you think you could, maybe let them go from the outside a little bit, then they hit one, and then you come out a little bit, and then they were, dishing it inside to one another. So, give them credit. I told the girls, can't take anything away from them. They're a good team, and they get to go move on to the sectional final game.
Well, and I thought they're one of the best passing teams I've seen, that high-low, and especially against your zone in the short corner, and they just seem to have a knack for knowing where people were, when they were open, and like you said, did a really nice job tonight of finishing.
Yeah, and we worked on that. We knew that they liked that high-low, and we, just couldn't rotate over sometimes quick enough, and even when we did, then it like I said, they seemed to throw it back outside and get that outside shot.
Now what happens? What do we do with the uniforms? What do we do with your job? What will your role be here as we go forward? We've heard, because of numbers, the last varsity season for a couple years. What is this? How do you look at this game? Is it an end? Is it just a stoppage for a while? How do you look at what this game tonight means in the context of where you're headed?
Well, I told the girls in the locker room that I had to thank them for their hard work this year, for getting to this point, to getting a regional final, which is something that we really wanted to do as a team. for getting me to this point to be able to coach in a game like this, and also to have the young ones coming up, my managers, the youth of Monticello, to see what it takes to play at this type of level and the excitement. I know my 5 managers down there were just as nervous, if not more nervous, than the players, and they were telling me how excited they were. This means a lot to the girls basketball program in general. I go back home and I have probably over 40 young faces looking at me from 4th through 8th grade. The program is strong. There's a lot of girls out, and I'm looking forward to kind of rebuilding that. I have 7 8th graders coming in as freshmen. We'll take a year off from the varsity aspect of the game and everything, and probably just run like a JV reserve or like a
Sure.
C schedule, and we'll just start building one day at a time.
So right now you think it'll just be 1 year?
I think it will be 1 year, yes.
And so tonight is not goodbye, it's see you in a little while.
Right. Yep. We'll be back.
Outstanding. Lori,